Lovely viewers, imagine a quiet kitchen filled with the gentle steam of simmering herbs, the low hum of a stove late at night, and Lee Min-ho standing there, sleeves rolled up, carefully preparing a traditional herbal soup. Not for a scene, not for a photo shoot, not for fans, but for Song Hye Kyo's recovery. As you listen, picture it clearly. And don't forget to let me know in the comments if moments like this melt your heart too. This sweet moment reportedly unfolded away from cameras and flashing lights, in a space where fame fades and care takes center stage. Song Hye Kyo, known for her strength, grace, and quiet resilience, had been going through a period of physical and emotional recovery. Those close to her hinted that it wasn't just exhaustion from work, but the kind of fatigue that seeps into the bones, the kind that requires rest, warmth, and genuine love. And instead of grand gestures or expensive gifts, Lee Min-ho chose something deeply personal and rooted in tradition. Herbal soup, the kind that Korean families have trusted for generations to restore strength and balance. Now, pause for a second, lovely viewers, and ask yourself, when was the last time someone cared for you in such a simple yet profound way? Drop a red heart in the comments if you believe acts of service are the purest form of love. The soup itself is more than just food. In Korean culture, herbal soups are symbolic. They're prepared with intention, patience, and knowledge passed down through elders. Ingredients are chosen not just for taste, but for healing. Ginseng to restore energy, jujubes for warmth and calm, ginger to improve circulation, and carefully selected roots and herbs meant to nourish the body from within. Lee Min-ho reportedly consulted with someone knowledgeable, possibly a family elder or a trusted herbalist, to ensure he got it right. This wasn't rushed. This wasn't casual. This was deliberate care. Imagine Lee Min-ho standing there, tasting the broth lightly, adjusting the flame, waiting patiently as hours pass. No script. No director calling cut. Just quiet focus and concern. Those who know him say that while he's known globally as a charismatic star, moments like this reveal a gentler side, one that doesn't need applause. When the soup was finally ready, it wasn't served in a dramatic way. No flowers, no staged reveal. Just a warm bowl carried carefully, the steam rising softly as he brought it to Song Hye Kyo. She reportedly smiled, that familiar calm smile fans adore, the kind that carries gratitude without needing many words. And in that moment, the world outside didn't matter. Lovely viewers, can you picture it? Close your eyes for a moment. The room is quiet. He takes a sip. The warmth spreads, not just through her body but through her heart. This is the kind of love that doesn't announce itself. It simply shows up. Fans who later heard whispers of this moment were deeply moved. Social media buzzed softly, not with scandal or shock, but with admiration. Comments poured in from viewers saying things like, "This is real love," and "It's the small things that matter most." And honestly, they're right. In an industry often obsessed with glamour, this simple act stood out more than any red carpet appearance. Song Hye Kyo herself is known to value privacy, especially during vulnerable times. Those close to her say that Lee Min-ho respected this completely. No posts, no hints, no cryptic captions, just presence, just care. And that, lovely viewers, is rare. As her recovery progressed, insiders noted a visible change. She appeared calmer, more grounded, her energy slowly returning. While healing is never just one thing, those around her believe that emotional support played a huge role. The body heals faster when the heart feels safe. And in those quiet days, with warm soup and gentle company, that safety was there. Now I want you to interact with me for a moment. If you believe love is best shown through actions rather than words, type actions in the comments. If you're more of a words of affirmation person, type words. Let's see where our lovely community stands. What makes this moment even more touching is how ordinary it is. Anyone can cook soup. Anyone can sit by someone's side. But not everyone chooses to. Especially not someone with a packed schedule, endless commitments, and the ability to outsource everything. Lee Min-ho choosing to do this himself speaks volumes. There's something deeply human about celebrities when they step into these everyday roles. In that kitchen, he wasn't a global icon. He was just someone who cared deeply about another person's well-being. And Song Hye Kyo, despite her status and strength, allowed herself to be cared for. That balance, giving and receiving, is what real connection looks like. As viewers, stories like this remind us why we fall in love with not just the characters these stars play, but the people they are believed to be behind the scenes. It's not about perfection. It's about intention. Lovely viewers, imagine if more relationships focused on healing rather than performing. Imagine if more people showed love through patience instead of pressure. This moment invites us to reflect on our own lives. Who needs warmth from you today? Who might need a bowl of comfort, metaphorically or literally? Fans across different countries resonated with this story because healing is universal. We all understand what it means to be tired. We all understand the comfort of being looked after. And seeing two familiar faces embody that truth made it even more powerful. As Song Hye Kyo continued to recover, those close to her noticed that she laughed more easily. Her eyes seemed lighter. Recovery isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just a series of gentle days strung together, supported by small acts of kindness. And that herbal soup became a symbol of that phase, a quiet anchor during a delicate time. If you're still watching, lovely viewers, I want you to tap the like button if you enjoy stories that focus on warmth and humanity rather than controversy. It helps the channel grow and tells me what kind of content you love most. What we take away from this sweet moment isn't gossip or spectacle. It's a reminder. Love doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simmers slowly on a stove, filling a home with warmth and care. Sometimes it tastes like herbs and patience. Sometimes it looks like someone choosing to stay. And as that quiet chapter continued, lovely viewers, the days that followed took on a rhythm that felt almost sacred in its simplicity. Morning light filtering through curtains, the faint clink of a spoon against a bowl, the calm presence of someone who doesn't need to speak to be understood. Recovery is rarely linear, and those close to Song Hye Kyo later shared that there were days she felt stronger and days she needed to slow down again. Through it all, Lee Min-ho remained steady, adjusting without complaint, without expectation, as though caring for her had become part of his own breathing. The herbal soup soon became more than a single gesture. It became a routine, a quiet promise repeated in small ways. Sometimes he prepared it fresh, sometimes he reheated it carefully, always checking the temperature first, always asking if it felt comforting enough. These are the moments that don't make headlines but shape lives. And perhaps that's why fans connected so deeply when they heard about it, because everyone recognizes the power of being looked after when you are not at your strongest. Lovely viewers, have you ever noticed how healing changes when someone is truly present? Not distracted, not half listening, but fully there. That presence has weight. It reassures the body and calms the mind. Song Hye Kyo, known for her quiet strength, reportedly allowed herself to lean into that presence. No mask, no performances, just rest. As the days passed, the atmosphere around her shifted. Friends described her space as calmer, warmer, filled with a sense of safety that's hard to explain but easy to feel. Laughter returned in small bursts, soft at first, then more frequent. Conversations stretched a little longer. Silence became comfortable rather than heavy. Healing often begins there. What makes this continuation even more touching, lovely viewers, is how mutual the care became. As Song Hye Kyo regained strength, she too began to check in on Lee Min-ho, asking if he had eaten, reminding him to rest, smiling gently when she noticed his tired eyes. Love, when it's real, flows both ways. One nurtures, then the other responds. It's never a competition. It's a cycle. Fans who admire both stars often talk about chemistry, about destiny, about grand romance. But what stood out here was partnership. The kind built not on dramatic declarations, but on shared quiet moments. The kind that understands recovery isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and deeply personal. And let's pause again, lovely viewers. If you believe that true love is built during the quiet seasons, not just the exciting ones, type "quiet love" in the comments. Let's see how many of us feel the same. As news of this gentle care continued to ripple through fan communities, many viewers shared personal stories. Some talked about caring for a parent during illness. Others recalled a partner who cooked for them during burnout, or a friend who showed up when words failed. This story became a mirror, reflecting countless real-life experiences. That's the beauty of moments like this. They remind us we're not alone. Lee Min-ho's decision to embrace such a traditional, nurturing role also sparked conversations about masculinity and care. Here was a global star, often cast as strong, heroic, and untouchable, choosing softness without hesitation, choosing patience, choosing nourishment, and in doing so, he redefined strength for many viewers watching from afar. Song Hye Kyo's recovery wasn't rushed. There was no pressure to bounce back, no expectations to perform wellness for the public. That too was part of the care. Allowing someone the time to heal at their own pace is one of the greatest gifts you can give. Slowly, signs of renewal appeared. Her posture straightened. Her voice sounded lighter during conversations. Her eyes held more spark. And each small improvement was met not with celebration, but with quiet gratitude. Healing doesn't need applause, it needs consistency. Lovely viewers, if you're still here, thank you for staying. Stories like this unfold gently, and your presence matters. If this continuation is resonating with you, tap the like button and let the algorithm know that warmth deserves space too. As time went on, the herbal soup became a symbol in the hearts of fans. Not just soup, but care, tradition, intention. People joke softly online about learning recipes, about cooking for loved ones, about checking in more often. When a celebrity story inspires real-world kindness, you know it has touched something deeper. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this continuation is that it doesn't end with a dramatic climax. There's no sudden reveal, no loud announcement. Just two people moving forward, a little stronger than before, carrying the quiet memory of a healing season they shared. Lovely viewers, life doesn't always give us grand love stories. Sometimes it gives us a bowl of soup, a warm presence, and time. And sometimes that is more than enough. As we slowly close this chapter together, take a moment to think about who you might show this kind of care to, or who you might allow to care for you. Healing is not weakness. Receiving love is not failure. It's human. And even after those gentle days seemed to settle into memory, lovely viewers, the feeling they left behind did not fade. It lingered like warmth in the body long after a comforting meal, like a calm that stays with you even when the room grows quiet again. That season of care became something both of them carried forward, not as a story to tell, but as an understanding woven into how they moved through their days. As Song Hye Kyo continued to regain her strength, there were moments when she would pause, almost surprised by how different she felt compared to weeks before. Strength returned not all at once, but in layers. One morning she woke up with clearer thoughts. Another day she noticed her steps felt lighter. On some evenings, she found herself humming softly without realizing it. These tiny shifts mattered. And each time she noticed them, there was a shared look between her and Lee Min-ho, a quiet acknowledgement that healing was happening, slowly but surely. Lee Min-ho, for his part, never treated her recovery as a task with an end date. He didn't count days or measure progress aloud. He understood something many people overlook. Healing is not a project to complete, but a process to respect. Some days he offered conversation and light humor. Other days he simply sat nearby, giving her the gift of silence. He paid attention in ways that didn't demand anything in return. Lovely viewers, have you ever noticed how the deepest care often shows itself in restraint? In not pushing, not fixing, not rushing someone to be okay, for your own comfort. That kind of care requires patience, humility, and empathy. It requires you to slow your own pace to match someone else's. And that is exactly what seemed to happen here. As her health improved, Song Hye Kyo gradually began to re-engage with the world beyond that safe, quiet space. Small walks, brief conversations with close friends, gentle planning for future work without pressure. Each step forward was supported, not questioned. There was no fear of regression, no disappointment if she needed to step back again. The space around her allowed flexibility, and that made all the difference. Fans, sensing a change even without official words, began to comment on how peaceful she seemed whenever she appeared. Not brighter in a performative way, but calmer, more grounded, as if something inside her had settled into place. And while public appearances never told the full story, many felt that the softness she carried was not an act, it was the result of being genuinely cared for. This continuation of care also reshaped everyday routines. Meals became moments to pause rather than rush. Evenings were no longer filled with constant stimulation, but with intentional rest. Sometimes they talked about trivial things. Old shows, favorite music, childhood memories. Sometimes they talked about nothing at all. And sometimes they talked about fears, exhaustion, and the unspoken weight that comes with living in the public eye. Those conversations didn't seek solutions. They sought understanding. Lovely viewers, if you've ever felt tired of being strong all the time, this story speaks to you too. There is relief in being allowed to soften. There is healing in being seen without expectations. And there is power in choosing gentleness, even when the world expects resilience. As days turned into weeks, the herbal soup no longer symbolized only recovery. It became a reminder of how that chapter began, with intention, care, and humility. Even when it wasn't prepared as often, the meaning stayed. It represented a choice that had been made again and again, to show up quietly, consistently, and sincerely. Lee Min-ho's actions during that time subtly influenced how those around them behaved as well. Friends became more attentive. Conversations slowed. There was less urgency, more listening. Care has a way of spreading when it's modeled authentically. And without realizing it, a ripple effect formed, one that extended beyond two people. Song Hye Kyo, reflecting later in private moments, reportedly expressed gratitude not just for the care itself, but for how it changed her relationship with rest. She learned that pausing does not mean falling behind, that healing does not diminish worth, that allowing someone to help does not erase independence. These realizations stayed with her, shaping how she approached life moving forward. Lovely viewers, take a moment here. Ask yourself when you last allowed yourself to rest without guilt. When you last accepted help without explaining yourself. If this story encourages you to do that, even just a little, then it has already served a purpose beyond entertainment. What makes this continuation especially meaningful is that it doesn't turn into a fairy tale ending. There is no claim of perfection. Life resumed with its complexities, its schedules, its pressures. But something fundamental had shifted. A foundation of care had been laid. And once that exists, everything else rests more steadily. Even on busier days, the memory of that healing season acted like an anchor, a reminder that amidst chaos, there is always the possibility of returning to simplicity, of choosing kindness over urgency, of offering warmth instead of answers. Fans, continuing to share reflections, often said that this story made them rethink what romance really means. Not grand gestures designed for display, but consistent acts done in private. Not declarations meant to impress, but actions meant to support. That shift in perspective was perhaps the quietest yet most powerful impact of all. Lovely viewers, if you're still here with me, thank you for holding space for a story that moves gently rather than loudly. Stories like this are not about idols on pedestals, but about people navigating vulnerability with care. If you feel connected to that, let your presence be known, through a comment, a like, or simply carrying this feeling with you into your day. As this continuation stretches onward, it reminds us that some chapters don't need closure. They don't end with a sentence or a scene. They continue in subtle ways, in how someone cooks, listens, waits, and stays. And perhaps that is the most realistic and comforting ending of all. So as we slowly drift out of this moment together, remember this. Healing can be quiet. Love can be simple. And sometimes the sweetest moments are the ones that teach us how to care better, for others and for ourselves. Stay gentle, lovely viewers. And until next time, keep choosing warmth in a world that often forgets how powerful it can be.